I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about your trip?
We can, sure. Let's talk about it. Well, okay. So I made it was a very low-key, impromptu trip to Minnesota to see my sister.
Yep.
Because she finished up all her requirements to possess a master's degree this weekend, and also her cat died. A cat that she was very close to that we were responsible for her acquiring. So it was meant to be just a little Virginia Woolf type weekend between two siblings.
So to be clear, Aggie, our cat, her brother died.
Yes.
And her brother was adopted by your sister.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't allow him in the house anymore. But so that's sad. But he had some health issues that, I mean, he was a sturdy cat.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it never, like, I didn't imagine that he would, I mean, he was a wiry little thing.
He was kind of a big boy, yeah.
He had a strong constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's sad to think that he was so sick.
But I mean, our cats, we didn't get them from a breeder, so they're kind of mutants.
Yeah, he's definitely more, he and Aggie are very different. Like size-wise, appearance-wise.
You know, in those movies where they have these science experiments with numbers on it?
Yes.
She's a number that's farther down the road.
Yeah, he would be like a 4 and she's like a 7 or something. The seventh iteration that's a little more refined. But still, your sister loved him.
Yeah, she was quite close to him.
Yeah.
So it was, as I was there, his ashes became unavailable.
What does that mean?
Well, because they in 2 weeks they give their ashes back to the owner. You can have that.
So you're saying available, like
they became available.
Oh, like she was able to get them.
And she didn't though.
Oh, I see.
She doesn't know what to do with them. But I said that, they're inside cats. It's not like he has a special tree outside. So I'm like, you should mix the ashes into some paint and then the paint somewhere he liked to sit, like the radiators.
Oh. I mean, I would just put them in a little box and put them on the shelf, but
I doubt you would even do that.
But I say that when our cat dies, I'm gonna throw in the trash with, like, in a bag, like one of those hefty, the ones that have the extra strong with the, you know how they say they have like that weave, that hexagon technology, like the strong bag. I'll buy some of those and wrap her ass in there, like double bagger.
No, we're not doing that.
And then when I throw her in the trash can, I'll do that, like, you know how like when you spin the trash so you can get some like lever, like some speed to it, and like toss it into the dumpster. It's not funny, but it is to me. That's how I would handle the grieving process.
We're not doing that.
Not unlike how my sister says when our mom dies, she's going to bury her in the pet cemetery.
Well, when she comes back, she can go live with your sister.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sure. So, TMZ headline from yesterday: Zac Efron hospitalized after swimming pool incident.
Oh, did he break his jaw again? So he can explain why he looks how he does?
Wow. Apparently, he was taken to a hospital in Spain after an incident in a swimming pool. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Zac was found inside the swimming pool by 2 people working at the villa he was staying in, and they had to pull him out of the water. But he's since been released from the hospital, and his rep said that him going to the hospital was just a precaution and everything's fine.
There have been so many weird things with happening to him throughout the years.
Well, he is an adventurer, right? Like he had a show on Netflix where he does kind of wild things. So I don't know. It's not like he's this, like, if you hear about Timothée Chalamet, falling from rock climbing, I'd be surprised. But I guess because like Zac skate, like I've seen him like on skateboards, and so I mean, maybe he's just.
Munchausen. No, I feel like it's always some kind of elaborate stunt or scheme or something drastic
Well,
that
I don't
happens.
trust anything. So yeah, I mean, if I found out that this was just an excuse to explain why the next time we see him in something he looks different, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like some kind of body snatcher bullshit going on.
But I mean, I do like him. I don't. I like. I feel bad that you know he gets a lot of attention for his appearance, um, which is jarring sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to read that he's okay.
Well, that's good.
Last weekend, I went to see Mariah Carey in concert in Las Vegas, and people were asking for a review, which I'm not prepared to do.
Oh, I already know the grade you gave it.
But oh my God, the cat
Has launched herself at you.
oh my God, annoying. Okay, the name of the so she's doing a residency at Park MGM, and the residency is called the Celebration of Mimi.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me start off with the good. Her catalog, I would give an A. I mean, if you're over the age of like 35, I feel like you know Mariah Carey's music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think depending on how you would qualify this, I think it's arguably she is the most successful female recording artist of all time. You could throw them like it bounced back and forth between her and Madonna, maybe like record sales, but like as far as like number one, like top 100 singles, Mariah Carey it's undeniable. And then she writes her own music, and so the catalog's an A. The show, I would give it a C minus, and I think that's being nice. Like. Because I mean, technically I would give it probably like a D, because
Oh,
I don't think it
goddamn.
passed. Like, it's not satisfactory, it's not acceptable. She is like a triple A list musical artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is she not? I just don't think she's never been a great performer. I've seen her, this was the first time I'd seen her perform in 20 years, but I'd seen her perform in the late 90s and early 2000s multiple times. And I mean, it's no secret that she's not a great dancer. She doesn't really seem comfortable on a stage, and many very popular artists are not, and that's fine. They find ways to make it work. I don't think after all these years she's found a way to get on a stage and seem like the top tier entertainer that she is. And I think what would make sense is for her to lean into the things that we all really like about her, which is the music, the voice that this might be controversial, but just me sitting in that concert, having very good seats. Um, I'm 100% certain that she was lip syncing over a pre-recorded track, because she was hitting all those whistle register notes and sounded really good. And I just find that hard to believe that her voice sounded like that. I mean, I don't know. Also, I could see that her mouth and then what I was hearing didn't always match. So that's why I'm saying I'm pretty certain. Okay. Of course, the mic was on, and this is not many artists lip sync to pre-recorded vocals, but it's artists who are dancing. So, Beyonce, Janet Jackson, they will have a combination of the two, because you can't sing and dance at the same time.
Girl, you know it's true.
But that review is dropping tomorrow. But okay, but then getting back to the positive, Mariah, her face and hair looked amazing. In fact, at one part in the show, like an interlude, she has her longtime makeup artist Christopher, and her hairstylist, whose name I just forgot, come out on stage and kind of like give her a touch up, which I thought was really cute. And then, one of her backup singers is Trey Lorenz, who, I mean, listening to the concert, I forgot how much music of hers I actually like.
Yeah, she's got a great catalog.
And
she does.
So I mean, I'm very familiar. Like Trey Lorenz was, MTV Unplugged, the "I'll Be There," like he's singing with her, and it's fun to see that a lot of the people she's worked with have been around her forever, which means that she takes nice care of the people around her.
Except for Nick Cannon.
Oh, damn. But so there's that. But the show, it looked like maybe they only rehearsed for like a couple days, maybe, and then she like the set was just not to the level that I think an artist of her caliber should require.
So Nelly's backup dancers looked more rehearsed.
Oh, yes. Well, and it's a shame because having seen Janet's concert 3 times and having very good seats, and of course Nelly opened for her, and he had these 4 young ladies dancing, and they were fun to see close up because they looked like they were having fun.
They were having fun, and they each had their own little. Yeah, they were enjoying themselves.
And they had their own personality.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson is known, like the main event, she's known for having ultra precise, like she puts the P in perfection. So, like it, and she had 4 dancers as well. So to compare the 2 sets was, they have a very different style. But Mariah Carey had 8 dancers, which I found funny because it's just like for an art. I mean, oftentimes it just goes to show that artists who can perform don't need as much behind them, whereas someone who's just going to stand there, which is exactly what she did, needs more going on, I guess. But then they were so sloppy to me. Like the choreography was just not tight at all, and I think didn't match a lot of the music. Like several mid-tempo songs had all 8 dancers out there like dropping it like it was hot. I thought that was weird.
So it's like a lip sync for your life, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, when they get desperate and start doing dips and spins and twirls. Like not to Aretha Franklin's respect. What's happening right now? But and then Mariah, she loves to wear those chunky ass heels, which I hate so much. And then she wears those nylons that are super thick and opaque. It's just like she has like, God.
I knew there was something wrong with her when I saw that episode of Crib she did in the 90s.
Oh, well, I'll get to that, but just like all her outfits are so tight and she just looks like she can't even breathe in them. I don't know how she's belting out these songs. It just doesn't even seem possible. And then she can't even walk. And I know that's part of the gag, that every time she gets on and off stage, like they would have some guy help her, and she's shuffling like she can barely move. It's funny, like the first time, like, oh, she's a diva, but then it's also like, ma'am, I mean, if you literally cannot walk on the stage, then maybe we need to get different shoes, different outfit, because the fact that you also don't have a lot of rhythm to move, and then on top, like, I'm assuming that that's part of her shtick, but let me get to what I think would make a better show. She has a top shelf catalog. She wrote off the majority of the hits we know from her. Wouldn't it be fierce if she sort of did something that was more intimate, but playing in larger venues where it's like almost like theater in the round?
Like Barbra Streisand?
Yes. With fabulous gowns, where one segment of the show, she's sitting on like an ottoman that looked like a claw-footed tub for a minute. And at first I'm like, oh, she's going to get up. There's like, she's just coming out here in this, but she's going to get up. No, she did like 4 songs just sitting on this couch, and it just looks so
like a white refrigerator.
And I know that that's part of her shtick, right? Like even the whole New Year's Eve performance where her backing track messed up, and so she just refused to sing. Like I know that's part of her shtick, but I don't know, when people pay that kind of money, and then it's just like, I need a little bit more. So this is what I think would be a better show. Like you said, something like a Barbra Streisand, where maybe she only does 10 songs, but then she tells stories in between songs. Because the theme for this show, I didn't read her memoir, but I'm assuming that what we were listening to were excerpts from her audiobook. So the theme for the show was basically like a princess trapped in a castle. So she was talking about, I'm assuming, Tommy Mottola and her marriage to him, and how she finally had the courage to leave. And that's when she was able to spread her wings like a butterfly. And then at the end, she goes on some rant about not letting people like bully you, like all the haters online, like all these different kinds of people, and then she says the president, and then I was like, okay,
Which one?
but like, who are you talking about? But anyway, it would have been so fierce for her to get up there looking fabulous. She doesn't even have to stand up. She can sit on like a really lush thing that where she's comfortable but still looks snatched, and she can actually wear heels that don't look like orthopedic shoes. And then she tells stories about the songs because Mariah Carey is funny and smart. Every interview, I mean, so TikTok, there's so many like clips of her just being shady and funny. Wouldn't it just be, I would pay to see a show where Mariah Carey is like half telling stories and half singing.
Well, kind of like Bette Midler specials used to be too.
Yeah. Or even like when you see the old, like Dionne Warwick, Smokey Robinson, like all those artists, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, like they tell stories. Like that's the fun part.
Maybe she's resisting that tradition because she doesn't want to seem like she's that age.
That's probably very valid, and also maybe like wants to keep,
Well, because
like she doesn't want to show us what's behind the curtain.
well,
of
the
her.
wardrobe, the wardrobe. But I mean, the title of your review of this concert should be Aspersions.
Anyway, I'm thankful that someone thought to provide me with the ticket, and I mean, it is a treat to see her because she is a, I mean, it was just, it's kind of, it is an experience to see an art, like an entertainer at her level, like
Oh, for sure.
like right in front of you. And she did look great. And immediately when I got back to my hotel, I was adding songs to my playlist.
And to me, that's kind of the reason for doing it is, that things don't go on forever. I think if somebody interests you or you like them, you should, and they are at a venue where you should make the effort to see them. I do believe that.
Well, especially these legacy acts,
Mm-hmm.
because they may not be performing much longer. I think if Madonna goes out again, I've seen Madonna live 5 times, like 5 different tours.
I've never seen her.
So I think the next time we should definitely go. I honestly didn't have a desire to go this time, but I think based on what you just said, it probably would make sense for sure, at least for you. That
Because it's true. I still kick myself when I was living in Minnesota and Eartha Kitt performed
oh yeah,
in '07, I believe, and she was scheduled to come back, and I had, and she died.
well,
But
that's the same thing. You had Amy Winehouse tickets, and
I did. Yep. Well, she canceled. Amy
she
canceled that show,
and
but
then,
yeah.
and then she died. But c'est la vie. Moving on to the restaurant section. There are a lot of restaurants on this list.
But yeah.
So we went to the Linden in Los Angeles, which is
Mhm.
very close to our home, and it is a Black-owned gourmet soul food restaurant,
Mhm.
and they have a speakeasy. So there's this restaurant, and then when you walk back towards the bathroom, there's just like an unmarked door, and if you walk through it, there is another like bar lounge back there.
And that speakeasy used to be a Mexican restaurant I liked.
I know. We used to go there. And, I feel, speaking of not taking advantage of things when they're around, we went a couple times and really liked it.
Yeah.
But, that was back when we didn't live over here.
That's true.
So we would only go if we would see screenings
at the ArcLight.
At the ArcLight, RIP. So, and then you would say forever, like, oh, we should go to and then we never did. And then here we are. Now it's closed, but it's replaced by the Linden, Los Angeles. What did you think of the environment?
I like the environment. Great music. I thought the staff was very friendly.
Well, as the kids would say, it did pass the vibe check. The music, It was very 90s R&B, so that was like the perfect playlist for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mary J. Blige, Brandy, Fantasia, like Tony Braxton, it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't too loud.
No.
Except when we got there, because we were told to not be late because we were meeting a very important person. And it was important to the person who invited us that we meet them. So we showed up well before we were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were late.
And they were late. But, no shade.
I'm going to extra read all about you.
Yeah. But as the restaurant became full, it was fully packed. Mm-hmm. It got a little chaotic because the seats are really close together. I felt a little uncomfortable. But, and also to mention, someone who says they watch our videos and listens to our podcast approached us and said hello at that restaurant.
Do you remember her name?
I think I do.
I think I do too.
But if I get it wrong, girl, please. I mean, if you listen to us, you know I have a memory disorder.
Yeah,
I believe her name was Stephanie.
I believe that was true. Ding, ding, ding.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Oh,
And she said she watches this with her boyfriend. Yeah.
shout out to Stephanie.
Yes.
I'm very impressed with myself
Yeah, I'm too.
because I
See,
didn't write anything down.
look at your little ganglions glowing
My
there.
little neurons firing. My little synapses are lighting up. Okay, the menu. We ordered. I liked my food.
I did
It was
too.
expensive as hell, though, for what it
Some
was.
of the stuff was overpriced, particularly whatever that pea thing was for $38.
Okay, let's talk about that. So we ordered something. It's called sweet corn truffle and pea agnolotti. So it was like the tiniest little bowl
Mm,
of like 6 little pieces of like they weren't rabbit. Y'all know I don't know about anything, but I'm sure agnolotti is the type of pasta. But it looked almost like lasagna noodles that
yeah,
someone cut into like strips, and maybe there were, and then they took those strips and like stuffed them with cheese, maybe. And maybe there were like how many of those? Like 6?
did not a lot.
I mean, that wouldn't feel one. I feel like my mom, who eats like a bird, could have eaten that entire
And
plate.
I think it's Anya Lati.
Oh, okay, sorry. Anyway, that was $40.
Yes, it was.
It was tasty.
Um,
Then we had oxtail grilled cheese.
excellent.
That was excellent.
Mhm.
That was excellent. That was $35. Then someone, because people were sharing, I didn't realize they were sharing, so we ate all our shit up and then started eating other people's shit only because they offered. But someone ordered the asparagus, no, the broccolini.
It might have been the best broccolini I've ever had.
That was the best broccolini I've ever had, and they certainly are putting, I mean, it has to have all the salt and butter in it. I don't know what the hell was. It was so good.
Well, it tasted like meat. So,
And then yes, it tasted charbroiled, fire roasted broccolini. You know what it tasted like to be kind of, which is not being shady, like when you go to Burger King, the flame broiled taste, whatever chemies they put on that. But I'm sure that whatever we were served at Linden
it's probably liquid smoke or
was
something.
not like chemicals, but it was that tasty to me. Then, okay,
I know what you're about to complain about next.
okay, I'm about to complain about something. So one of their small plates is called Breaking Bread. And it's like damn near $20. But I assumed, because we were at a soul food restaurant, that we were going to get some like pull apart bread that had like some really good like dipping sauces or something. Child, when they bring that shit out, I thought it was a joke. It looked like, what do you call the I feel so ignorant sometimes because like I've been to so many nice restaurants and I never know what to call. You know when like the server will say like here's a sampling of what the chef is working on, or and then they give
specials?
you no, and they give you like samples of like it's like to entice you to order some things. So they'll bring you like a smattering of some things that are like on special that evening. That's what this looked like. Literally, they brought us 2 cutting boards, which was such an awkward presentation because one cutting board had the bread, and this bread was 2 super tiny little pieces of cornbread, like something you would make out of the Easy Bake Oven, and then like 3 little pieces of focaccia.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say little, like the size of like a stick of gum, and then maybe like half an inch thick, like so tiny. And then an everything bagel that was the size of, I mean, cock rings are bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
it just was, sorry.
That's the name of the bird.
Yeah, feathers.
It was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids bread. Okay.
Yes.
But
Dolly food, like when little girls get like the teacup set,
Mhm.
like that kind of shit.
Mhm.
And then the condiments were, okay, this was interesting. They had butter in the shape of a fried chicken drumstick.
Yeah, and I think it was butter that was.
So it was butter that was frozen, and then they dip it in like the fried chicken breading, and then they deep fry it.
Yep.
Okay, you would think it'd be amazing, but it just tasted like someone put, what do you call breadcrumbs? Panna cotta?
Panko.
Panko?
Mm-hmm.
It just tasted like someone took butter and dipped it in panko.
They breaded the butter.
So it wasn't even like, oh, deep fried butter. No, it wasn't that good.
Deep fried butter.
Shout out to Deborah Wilson as Oprah.
Mhm.
Then they gave us like a schmaltz of cream cheese that was whatever. And then like a little ramekin of olive oil.
You
But
said,
the focaccia was so greasy that it's like
oh,
you,
I thought it tasted good though.
yeah, because it tastes like they soaked it in that olive oil.
Yeah. The flavor was
For
good.
$20, that was a fool. I can't believe that. And then but you know what? The server was cute. And
Yeah.
when I asked her, she kind of was like, well, I mean, if you're thinking you want to get it. So I feel like in her way, she was trying to say, boy, don't waste your money on this shit. But
Sure.
but then she was also saying it like, you seem like you want it, you should try it. Like
It was fine. Now you know.
their desserts were interesting because they had something called rugelach, which is like bread pudding, but she described it as like if you took, how did she describe it? Like a Krispy Kreme donut mixed with like a croissant or something. The
Yeah,
way she
something like
described
that.
it sounded so interesting. That was really good. And
Mhm.
then they had crispy peach like cobbler.
Which I did not try.
It was like it was like someone took peach cobbler and then put pie crust around it and then deep fried it.
See, I like peach cobbler more like the Patti LaBelle style where there aren't a lot of peaches.
Yes, like I just want the glaze of it.
Like her banana pudding without
Like
much
her banana,
bananas.
exactly. This one tasted like if the McDonald's apple pie.
Hmm.
It almost tasted like if you know how that McDonald's apple pie, sometimes the part where like the filling, it kind of caramelizes and it gets like it's too hard to try to cut.
That part. Mhm.
That part, that's what this was like. It was
Mhm.
very difficult to like cut into. I mean, it tasted, like once you get it in your mouth, it's like this deep fried dough with ice cream. And then it tastes good, but I think it was kind of not the
It's
most user friendly.
no, it's food for the privacy of my home.
But I love that it is a black owned upscale restaurant that was serving food that I wouldn't call it soul food. And I shouldn't have said that because I don't know that they consider it soul food. I mean, they do have items that it's more elegant. Like I feel like it's too elegant to just try to say like it's soul food.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But not that's, but speaking of that, we went for our anniversary, I think.
Mhm.
When did we go to the soul food restaurant downtown?
Oh, that was an anniversary, yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because it's named after. So the people who own it, they're like four of them, and only one's black. And then it's the name of the restaurant is named after the grandmother of the Asian lady,
Yes.
the Asian wife of the black man.
Yeah.
And so this soul food restaurant is only a quarter black owned, and then it's named after someone's Asian grandma.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was very overpriced too.
It was, but I liked all my food there too.
I did too. Would I go back to Linden? Yeah, I'd probably just stick to I would definitely get that grilled cheese again
Yeah.
and like a couple beers. And,
You can't go wrong with a really good sandwich.
no. Anyway, I wanted to mention a few things. When I was in Vegas, I tried two restaurants in the downtown district, and I want more so than the restaurants. I wanted to mention that Clark County or the city of Las Vegas, in an effort to stimulate the economy of this area because it's having a hard time. Downtown Vegas has always been known as real rough, and they're clearly trying to they're trying to have a renaissance. And there are a lot of cute places. There are a lot of really cute lofts and cute restaurants, and so they have this program through an app where at participating restaurants, which would be all of them in that district, they're basically like giving a 50% rebate on all purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So like up to $50. So meaning that if you sign up for this app and you eat there, you submit your receipt and the city will give you a 50% rebate. So it's not the restaurant having to lose money. It's the city subsidizing it to encourage people to go eat. And I thought that was a really nice way to try to stimulate and keep these restaurants, because the two I went to were very, very good. I went to a place called 7th and Carson for breakfast. That was really good. And then I had dinner at a Mexican restaurant called La Mona Rosa.
Oh.
And I don't like when you have to pay for chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant.
Same.
But we did. And I have to say, those chips were some of the best goddamn tortilla chips I've ever had.
Oh, see, well, maybe you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and they were only $6. So I'm very glad. No.
God damn.
But I do want to say the server was this young man, and I've eaten at thousands of restaurants in my day, and I have never had a server be so enthusiastic that it was uncomfortable. And then he shook our hands as we were trying to pay. Like when he handed us the receipt, he like shook our hands, but it was like a very strong, like sincere, like look you in the eye and say thank you.
For
And
eating here?
oh my God, I was so uncomfortable the entire time because he was so
Oh.
like, he was trying so hard, but then he was also messing up all the time. Like, well, you didn't bring the drink I ordered, and this is not like you brought over someone else's food. Like,
Oh.
but bless his heart, the food was good, and I ordered. I'm picky about pozole ever since an incident we had in Venice. I usually don't order pozole at a restaurant.
We're talking about Venice, California, not
Venice,
Italy.
California, where they brought pigs. They put a
Oh,
pig's
that,
foot in my
why
pozole.
the pig knuckle
The pig-
made its way to my mouth.
Ever
Yeah,
since then, I only eat my mom's pozole, or you like to make pozole too.
I do. I'm not bad. I'm not bad.
But anyway, so you had a few places
Yeah,
on the list.
yeah.
Northeast SoCal.
Oh my god.
So in Minneapolis, there's a restaurant called Northeast SoCal.
Yeah.
What are the vibes there?
Okay, so Jordan, well, that's my sister's name. She brought me there for breakfast on a last visit. I guess that would have been last summer. And we had brunch there. And I recall liking the food, but it took forever to leave, and they didn't have proper protection from the sun from their outside seating. But she's like, "Oh, they have good dinner as well. Do you want to go there?" So we did, and so I like duck, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I get a lot of duck, usually in Berlin, usually Chinese restaurants, like crispy, yum yum duck. Love it, love it, love it. So they had moderately priced duck, and I'm happy to see my sister. I'm like, let me try this duck. This is how ignorant I am. So, and they were understaffed again, and the waiters, she seemed super stressed. This duck comes out.
Mm-mm.
It is raw. It is.
Oh.
It is. It is, and it is sliced and laid out in a way that looks like sushi. Okay.
Oh.
And it is raw.
Wait, like, are we supposed to have any poultry raw?
Okay, so then before I freaked out because I don't know a lot of things about stuff, right?
Okay.
I Googled it. Apparently, that is a popular way that nicer, I'm doing air quotes, restaurants serve duck breast, and apparently the layer of fat around duck breast.
You want to preserve it.
Well, no, purportedly saves the flesh from bacterial infection, unlike chicken.
Oh.
But there are several schools of thought on this, and there are lots of people that said that you shouldn't eat that at all. But I believe that this is the way that this is supposed to be prepared.
You didn't say anything?
No, I ate it.
Y'all need to take this back and don't even deep fry the shit. Don't even.
Can you bring this back to me crispy, please?
Yeah, can I get some fried duck breast? Because
well, so this lady was stressed out. I'm 98.9% positive this is the way that it's supposed to be prepared at this restaurant. So I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do.
Was it good?
I did what I had to do.
So you didn't even like your food?
No. Jordan was she's like, this doesn't have to be happening right now.
No.
And she was trying to take pictures of me because she's like, it's like when you give a baby food.
I'm not paying good money to not like my food.
I gave her a medallion of raw duck breast, and she's like, well, if you get sick, I'll get sick too.
Oh, so she ate it.
She tried it, and
she didn't like it.
No. Ooh. But again, woke up the next day fine. Because I also, what's that story about those? We listened to some interview with some trans model, and she said,
"Oh, how they would to try to stay thin instead of using drugs. She would make a smoothie out of like shrimp and leave it out on the windowsill so it would get like rancid, and then drink it and become violently ill."
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Anyway, that did not happen. So all is well that ends well. But now I know to always ask how your duck is prepared, people. My God. Oh, So that was an experience I probably won't forget. But
Then you
I did it, y'all.
then you tried a place called Origami.
Yeah. So because of the trip, you and I saw M. Night Shyamalan's film Trap separately. So I brought my sister to Lagoon Cinema, which I haven't been to in over 13 years. And I haven't been to Uptown at all, which has vastly changed. It feels like the land that time forgot in Uptown
Oh,
because
that's
all
too
of
bad.
what is it? Is it Hennepin? Is the cross
Hennepin and
street?
Lake.
Yeah, like that's the cross street. It's all under construction. Almost all of the restaurants have not made it except McDonald's because
Is the Lund still there?
I didn't go. We didn't walk past the
Oh,
Uptown, but it looked like Lund's was still there from where I could see. Wow, it was sad. It felt sad, but the lagoon's still there. And there had a restaurant in the plaza that's located in looks really nice.
oh, is that where Bar Abilene used
Bar
to be?
Abilene used to be over there.
Can we
Yeah,
talk about Bar Abilene for a
sure.
second?
Yeah,
Because there used to be a restaurant in Uptown called Bar Abilene that they had the best happy hour in the world,
and
like
they
that I've ever experienced in 45 years. Like it was 50% off anything,
yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we would go tear it up.
Oh yeah, and you brought me there a couple times after we had been to the gym together, and I mean, we were wearing wet gym clothes.
Oh yeah. But I'm like, we can't miss happy hour. We don't have time to go home and change. We have to get to Bar Abilene before 6.
That was exactly how we operated. And then I remember they were known for their guacamole because they made it for you right at the table side. Uh, that's what I remember about that place. Anyway, that's gone.
Anyway, is Origami sushi?
Origami's a sushi place.
Not to be prejudiced, but
Laden says like southern Louisiana. Anyway, origami. Kind of by necessity and timing, and the waitress, the woman that greeted us was very ambivalent at first, which is fine. We sat outside. I got drunken noodles because that's hard to fuck up, and I needed something. I knew would be good, and my sister got this roll called "Mommy Don't Cry." That shit was good. And the fact that the waiter brought it over and she's like, my children asked me to bring this home every day.
what is it?
Oh, it's got some kind of less expensive than caviar fish eggs on top, which you wouldn't know except for the shape that's what it was. And it's got cream cheese and shrimp, I think. And
you liked it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I had some of that. It was enjoyable.
You tried Nolo's Kitchen and Bar?
Her little friend that we hung out with likes
a homosexual.
A known homosexual.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
right? I've never met him.
You haven't, but if you met him, you'd be like, "That's homosexual."
Do you think we would get along?
I think at first, and then once things started to be taken for the evening's festivities, you would be annoyed. But he liked the what did you call them? Espresso martinis. There, the best in town, I was told. So we got those, and I had a turkey burger, and it was fine. I didn't really love the crowd there, but.
And then the sample room.
And this was the last restaurant. Super cute. I had a beer and okay, so the sandwich delicious. They called it a Cuban, a spicy Cuban.
You messaged me about this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk to me about this Cuban sandwich.
Oh, the bread was deep fried and crispy, and they had lots of jalapenos, which I like. It was pulled pork. But if I'd taste tested that blind, and you asked me what kind of sandwich it is, Cuban is nowhere near the top 10 things I would have guessed, but still, whatever they want to call it that. Okay. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm.
And lastly, the sample room.
That was the sample room.
Oh, sorry. I just had a brain. Okay. All right. Well, there are a couple things in the sorry to this man section.
Oh God.
I was typing something. That's why I got confused. Here, let me finish what I was typing. Okay. So it was brought to my attention in a funny way. So this is not meant to be like, when I was talking about the seed of Chucky and I called the seed of Chucky him, apparently the seed of Chucky is non-binary.
Oh, please.
That is the storyline that they don't like. They don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I thought that was funny.
Small steps, I guess. Okay, good. Then, to know.
So in our trap review video on YouTube, I said a spoiler about Longlegs.
Oh yeah, I saw people were mad.
Yeah, people were real mad. I got a lot of messages. And I have to say, I'm not going to make excuses for it. When I said it, I wasn't thinking. When I edited it, I thought, oh, should I take this out? But then I thought, oh, it's going to be weird because I had nothing to kind of cover it up with. I was trying to get it out as fast as possible, and it would have taken more effort to try to figure out how to cut it and make it more seamless. Not that my editing skills are seamless to begin with, but I when I edited it, I thought, oh, should I take that out? And then I think my immediate thought was, well, we spoil everything. Like usually the day it comes out or the day before. So this movie is like weeks old. So that was my train of thought. But then after seeing people were very upset, then I thought, oh, I probably shouldn't have said it without saying, oh, spoiler.
I have thoughts on this.
But so I mean, probably I think it's safe to assume that no movie's safe when I'm talking about it. But also, if you're clicking on one review video, you probably aren't expecting to be getting spoilers for another movie. I think that's fair too.
I think that's fair, and I understand that. But if you are that upset about holding off from watching anything Longlegs related, why haven't you seen it yet? It's been out 3 weeks.
That's okay. After I was trying to be understanding, then I thought, okay, not coming at me with this energy like I ruined your wedding over a movie that came out 3 weeks ago. Bitch, you should have got your ass to the theater 3 weeks ago. Like, you're mad like I spoiled. Like
you're being like Bob Sinclair. World, hold on, okay.
Yeah, like your daughter's gender reveal party, I ruined before they popped the balloon. Like, this movie's been out for damn near a month, and you haven't made the effort to go see it. And of course, some people, I mean, the comments don't exist anymore because I removed them. But
oh God,
there were so many comments that I removed, and I removed most of them, I think.
Well,
some of them were funny to me, so then I left them. The ones that you can see were the ones that I thought were okay.
The other thing that kind of like, as in the sands of time, as years go on, nobody's going to think that way because everything's had been out for years. You know what it reminded me of? My dad getting mad, like he bought something that he wanted to hold on to for some reason, food related, and like, oh, this cereal's no longer available. Yeah, we had it a month. I ate it. You do this to me too sometimes. Like there was ample time to try it if you wanted. Get mad at me, and we can just get more.
I won't say anything about that. But
okay.
So yeah, so I do think that in the future I'll probably be more mindful about, probably don't spoil movie B in a review for movie A if it's not something that's, spoiling the first Jurassic Park or something. You know what I mean? Like certain movies are fine, but something that's that new. But then, like you said, I also thought, well, you're so mad about something that the way you're acting, I would have thought you would have slept outside the theater Wednesday night to be the first person to get in Thursday. So I don't know why.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you're waiting for streaming or VOD, but
sure. So I don't.
But that's just like, okay, like RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't look at Instagram on the day if I don't want to know the winner because somebody spoils it because I wait a day later. So
sure, but that's also saying, like, I mean, I get it. Like,
again,
because a lot of the comments were like, I avoided your Longlegs review because I don't want it to be spoiled, but of course I want to see your Trap review because I don't mind, and then you spoil. So then the last thing I want to say about that portion of it is, for those who are upset and feel like it was spoiled, that's not the main twist of the story. And I'm not going to say what I said just in case I don't want to spoil it for more people now. But what I said in the Trap review is not the big twist of the movie.
No.
In fact, it's kind of a weird, like, sort of thing that happens in the middle that's like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that.
In fact, I think you could actually technically classify that as a red herring, but
kind of, yeah. There is a bigger twist that it has not been ruined by me in any other video. So if now you like threw your toys down and don't want to go see it, you can still go and you will still be surprised by how it ends.
It's never nice to be disappointed to have things ruined, but at the same time, the world does not wait for time. Waits. Well, for anyway, no
so then moving on to the Trap video. These aren't. There were two very important things that I wrote down in bold letters in my notes as we were recording it, and then we were recording it on Zoom, so I wasn't looking at my iPad. So this is a lesson learned for me that anytime I do shit outside of the normal way, that's when I mess up. Anytime I was doing hair and the client convinced me to try something a different way that I would normally do it, I would always mess it up. Anytime I like, I like to carry my bag or my wallet or my driver's license in a certain way. And anytime I try to change that, that's when I lose it, forget it. But there were 2 points that I really wanted to make in the video that I forgot.
Was
One is
the longest day ever?
the longest day ever.
Sure.
Okay, Josh Hartnett and his daughter show up to the concert early, but like that is a plot point because the daughter wants to see Lady Raven get out of her tour bus, and there are people waiting on the side of the arena. So it makes sense that it was daylight when they get there because they say we're here as early as we can be. But then we have a full ass concert. Then we get time after the concert backstage, which we don't even know how long that was, but it certainly wasn't just like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the drive from the venue to Josh Hartnett's house. Then we get a full on like a hostage situation in the house, and it's still daylight. So what time was this concert? Was this concert like at 2 in the afternoon? Have you ever been? I mean, I've been to I've never, like, I know that there are like children's shows that start early, but Lady Raven's like supposed to be like Lady Gaga
Yeah.
or Ariana Grande.
I mean, if it's in the dead heat of summer, like 8 o'clock, the sun's starting to go down, right?
So that was confusing. The other thing that probably was more glaring to me is I've been to so many concerts, all types, major events, big artists. I've never seen so many people out of their seat while the show's going on. Every time Josh Hartnett got up during the show, like Lady Raven is fully performing, and he would walk into like, the arena where you can get drinks or go to the bathroom, full of people. You would think that they're like the concert hasn't started yet and they're trying to get to their seat.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy to me.
There were, again, especially with the first hour at the concert, there were so many things logistically that didn't make sense.
When he went to the bathroom the first time, and that's when we see him on the phone checking his hostage
Mm-hmm.
or his victim, that bathroom was full,
Mm-hmm.
like completely full. Now, granted, you could argue that all these men were forced to go see Lady Raven, so they don't care if they miss her. But the crowd outside the bathroom, like not in their seat, was like the show hadn't even started yet,
Mm-hmm.
or it had just ended. So,
well, and she had lots of costume changes that, because even the little girl kept getting up to leave too a couple times, and it's like,
yeah.
I for costume changes, I usually stay in my seat, but okay.
Anyway, films released we didn't cover: Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Oh, popular children's book turned into a film with starring that man from the Shazam films.
Oh, his career is interesting, isn't it?
Lil Rel's in it too. Carlos Saldana directed it. I had absolutely no interest in seeing this.
I don't even know what that is. War Game.
This sounded interesting. It's directed by Tony Gerber and Jesse Moss. It's about U.S. officials simulating a coup after a disputed election. Does that sound familiar?
Mm.
Also, considering what November is shaping up to be like, I feel like I need more distance. I need more distance from this.
Next, Elizabeth Taylor, The Lost Tapes.
Well, I love me some Liz Taylor.
Yeah, I didn't know about this, so I probably would have tried to watch it.
I think, well, because of the travel this week would have, but it's on Max right now, so we probably should watch it because I really like her.
That should have been my secret film anyway.
Oh, well. Nanette Burstein. I think this premiered out of Sundance earlier this year, but apparently there's access to some archival footage and interview stuff with Liz Taylor.
Lastly, Dr. Jekyll.
We reviewed this several months ago with starring Eddie Izzard.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we did cover it.
We did cover this, but
so that's inaccurate. If you're interested in the Eddie Izzard film Dr. Jekyll, we have a review on our YouTube channel.
But we covered it when it only released in the UK because it didn't have US distribution then.
Sure.
Which
Spoiler, we thought it was not great, so you'll probably like the review because I'm just shitting on it. But
but I love Eddie Izzard.
But I do really like Eddie Izzard. Okay, projects of interest. Universal Pictures has landed the rights to Britney Spears' biopic film based on her memoir, The Woman in Me, and it's going to be directed by John M. Chu. Who's John M. Chu?
Oh, God.
It says he's the Wicked director, but...
he did the film version?
Do you know who John M. Chu is?
I've seen something about this person.
Oh, well, anyway, I am interested because you know this is going to be like an event when this movie comes out. This person, John M. Chu, did, I think, like Crazy Rich
Oh
Asians.
yes,
Oh, Step Up to the Streets, In the Heights.
that's how I know that
Now
name.
You See Me. I'm not very impressed by these movies. Step Up Revolution.
Well, you didn't see In the Heights.
Yeah, I did.
You saw In the Heights.
Yeah.
You wouldn't not when we reviewed it.
No, I saw it. I think I either watched it on streaming or on an airplane.
Oh, okay.
But I remember reviewing it with you, so I knew the story, and then I did watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that dumb G.I. Joe movie, and Now You See Me Too is wretched. But I think maybe when he gets things that he's more interested and passionate about.
Oh no, I fully, just based off of all of this and the subject, I think this movie is going to be a train wreck, but I am interested in watching it. Next, The Running Man.
So this is getting a remake because there's the uh, classic starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Conchita Alonso.
Arnold.
Edgar Wright, who I don't particularly care for as
Edgar
a filmmaker.
Wright?
He did Baby Driver, which I loathe.
Oh, he's a director. Okay.
Yes, but a lot of fanboys seem to love everything Edgar Wright. Is it because of Scott Pilgrim? I don't know. Which sorry, I don't love that movie. Maybe Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, but almost anything. And his Sparks Brothers doc, but whatever. I don't love Edgar Wright. He's reuniting Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell after that other abysmal film they did last year for a remake of this Stephen King property, which is weird because they're also making The Long Walk into a film right now with Judy Greer, which we talked about, I think, on the last podcast. Anyway,
The Madison.
this is a Yellowstone spin-off film.
Oh.
But it's reuniting two people.
Like Yellowstone is Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Oh.
Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell.
Oh.
Who haven't worked together since 1988's Tequila Sunrise.
Oh.
Also starring Mel Gibson. So that should be fun. Although Michelle Pfeiffer, white gold she may be, especially as an older woman, doesn't strike me as having a face for the Old West.
No, but we'll definitely see it. In a Violent Nature 2.
Yep, that's gonna come.
Hamnet.
Mm-hmm. Based on a book by, is it Michelle O'Farrell? I can't remember her name, but it's about the death of Shakespeare's son and the effect it had on himself and Anne Hathaway. Chloe Zhao is directing, which is exciting. Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal are playing the grieving Elizabethan parents.
Lastly, Sigourney Weaver is going to be in the West End.
She's making her West End debut this December, playing Prospero in The Tempest.
Well, I'm sure you're excited about that.
I mean, aren't you going to come see it with me? I mean, though I'm nervous. You've seen, speaking of the Lagoon, we have a full circle moment. I dragged you to Julie Taymor's The Tempest with my sister at the Lagoon with Helen Mirren as Prospero, and you were so cranky afterwards. And again, I didn't love that movie, but...
And here we are all these years later and still being subjected to abuse. Anyway, unfortunately, there is an entry in the obituary section. Roberto Herlitzka,
yep,
an Italian theater and film actor, died.
He was 86. I think if you watch a contemporary Italian film, you'll recognize he's usually playing a cranky old man, but he's particularly good in Good Morning Night, the Marco Bellocchio film from 2003. He's also a prominent figure in Paolo Sorrentino's The Great Beauty, which I believe is the best film from that filmmaker. Sorrentino's used him a couple times, but yeah, had a very lengthy career. But again, if you see him and watch Italian film, you're like, oh, I recognize him.
So this week, The Secret Film was my choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was teetering? Mm-hmm. No. What's the phrase? I was going back and forth.
You were tiptoeing through the tulips.
I was tiptoeing through the tulips, trying to decide whether I wanted to watch the new Netflix film with Harry Connick Jr., Find Me Falling,
Mm.
or this film. And ultimately, I chose this film because the Harry Connick Jr. one just looks so dry and dumb. But I chose the 2024 American supernatural horror film, Tarot.
My favorite flavor of boba.
Oh, yeah. Directed and written by two people, Spencer Cohen and Anna Hallberg.
Yeah, who wrote and or produced Moonfall. So that should tell you
Oh,
about
I didn't know
where
that.
they're at mentally. But anyway,
This film is based on the 1992 novel Horoscope.
please just go buy that book instead.
Yeah. What is this movie about? When a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. The
Mm.
description sounds stupid. The movie's stupid. The I mean, this movie's
I
terrible.
don't think there was a 10-second stretch of film that I liked in this.
There isn't. Well, there. The only positive would be, I think, the cinematography and some of the digital effects. Like, it's definitely not the worst you've seen in that regard. But this story, I mean, this is reductive. Whatever Madonna was calling Lady Gaga, that's what this movie is, because it feels like just every trope of every shitty, glossy PG-13 horror film with characters who don't make sense being in the situations they're in, being with each other. There were no. Was there a single scary, tense moment in this movie?
No.
Not even close.
The scariest thing was how it wasted time.
It's oh my god.
Actually, okay, so the hand drawings on the cursed tarot deck, those looked cool.
Yeah, the look of the film, which is why I wouldn't give this film the lowest score possible, because I would give it up to the cinematographer and like production design,
Mm.
visual effects. Like, it does feel glossier than a lot of things. What was that movie we reviewed from a festival about, I believe, an Aboriginal woman who's a doctor in Australia and her baby's cursed because her mama gave
Oh, we reviewed it at the very beginning of
the
this.
Mugai.
I hated that.
I mean, this movie, when you compare these two movies,
I hated that, and I like that more than this.
yeah, actually, well, the Mugai was fun to kind of shit on, and it was so ridiculous. But yeah, okay, the story. So we have 7 friends who go live in Boston. I believe they're all in school, like they're college age people, and they go to the Catskills to spend the weekend in a cabin, like they booked off Airbnb or something like that. And they
Mm.
get there, and immediately they start rummaging through this house, and they see a door marked private, do not enter. And these fools break the lock, go in, and it's like this creepy basement, and they find, among other things, a box of tarot cards. And the box is this ornate wooden box that has the zodiac symbol on the top. And then, like you mentioned, the cards are hand painted, they're very interesting. And one of the friends, like the main character, her name is Haley.
Huh.
She basically shares with all her best friends, because only one of them knows, which was weird to me, that she is very fluent in like reading tarot cards and understanding astrology.
Witch.
So of course they're like, "Oh, please, well, we're bored in this cabin. Why, like, let's play a game where you like read our cards." And she's super hesitant, but they
You should never use someone else's cards.
and then she, on top of like, if telling her friends she didn't want, like, if no wasn't enough, then she says, well, it's kind of an unspoken rule that you don't use someone else's deck. So foreshadowing, it's like bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
But she does it anyway. And okay, we need to talk about, so I was reading about the book is based on Horoscope, and this book is about a series of murder that occur, and they're all related to like the victim's astrological signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that being interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about this at the end, but you and I talking for 10 minutes came up with like 4 better ideas
Oh
for this movie,
yes.
which we're apt to do. But in this film, I also listened to another podcast where they reviewed this film, and I had forgotten about that when I chose it, but they had a woman on who is an astrologer. And she was explaining that the way they handle astrology in this film, tarot, is not really accurate and didn't quite make sense to her. But I've never seen tarot readings and astrology like presented this way, and it just seems like an odd, like, considering that most people know astrology because they at least know their sign and they have some connection to, like, well, even if I don't believe in it, like, I know that I'm a Scorpio. Whenever I say I'm a Scorpio, people have a reaction, and when I say my husband's a Scorpio, they have a double reaction. And I know Gemini is supposed to be two-faced, and like even the most remedial person would know.
And there's poppers called double Scorpio.
And then tarot cards, I think everyone associates tarot cards with like fortune tellers and crystal balls, but to combine them feels weird. And then we get an element of like a lady being a medium or a psychic of sorts, and then we have this idea of like the cards being cursed. So it's like every trope you can think of
thrown into this blender,
thrown
and
into this blender.
it's all banal, it's all flavorless. You know, and I've been reading a lot about the presentation of voodoo in films, and it's kind of that where these ignorant filmmakers and writers just toss all these cliches, and that's not what any of these things are really about.
Well, even what's the Osgood Perkins movie?
Longlegs.
Oh, Longlegs. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it was the Queer Cinema Catch Up, which I think we're going to be a guest. Well, I don't think, I know we're going to be a guest on their podcast. I'm only mentioning that because on their podcast for Longlegs, they alluded to us being on their podcast, but they didn't want to say it until it was confirmed.
Oh,
so, but they seemed excited about it. So I'm going to confirm that we're going to do their podcast. But, well, actually, I think it's going to be a video. Anyway, they were talking about how they had listened to an interview with Osgood Perkins, and he was saying that he deliberately did not want to do any research on like FBI. Like he didn't. He was writing it based on how he felt it would be, and I do appreciate that he is open about the fact that I don't know what the hell I was talking about when I wrote this, which kind of shows in some parts of the story.
It definitely does.
But anyway, to finish tarot, so of course these stupid friends take this deck of cards, let this lady read their astrological tarot cards, and she basically at the end of each reading gives them like a final card and then gives them like a saying that you would get from like your
fortune cookie,
your Panda Express fortune cookie. So basically it'll be like, your final card is the High Priestess, and your fortune is that, you know, you're going to have to climb a ladder to get to where you want to be, or something like that. So then we see ultimately like 5 of the 7 friends each get killed by like the way she said, like the High Priestess and the ladder, or the Riddler and something else, or the hangman on a bridge. So of course the 2 characters you would imagine would be left standing are the ones left standing.
Yeah.
And they are a couple who in the opening of the film tell the group of friends, we just broke up. So they have a contentious relationship. And Haley, the character who did the tarot readings, she figures out, and this is after, again, so reductive, the ubiquitous scene where they very easily find someone who can explain everything to them. And this person is played by
the old lady, Olwen Fuere,
who we reviewed in The Watchers.
Yeah, we've reviewed in a couple things at this point, but yeah.
She knows all about this box of tarot cards because this same thing happened to her and her friends.
London, 1988.
Yeah. So she and this is, I'm going to get back to this later, but she tells Haley and the audience that she has spent her entire life ever since 1988 trying to figure out those tarot cards.
Where these cards go.
Yeah. And she tells the story of like back in the 1700s, there was this peasant astrologer who worked for this rich count, and she read this count's fortune that said like, oh, basically like your kid's going to die, and the kid died. So of course the count was mad, thinks she's a witch, killed her kid. So this witch cursed these tarot cards.
So anybody that gets their fortune read from these tarot cards is thereby cursed.
We're going to get to why this is also stupid, but so Alma explains all that. Olwen Fuere. But then poor Alma gets done up too by the damn, and then the peasant
They
Astrologer.
just call her the astrologer.
Oh, the astrologer.
Mm-hmm.
In the opening, when they first explain her, they describe her as a peasant astrologer. That's why I'm saying
I
it. But
mean,
anyway,
we all have a past.
when we finally see her, she looks like La Llorona.
Yeah, and it's very got you some La Llorona vibes with the kid being
Yes.
killed. Yeah.
So I'm just like, what is this movie? Astrology, fortune telling, tarot, medium, psychic, curses, demons. Like it's everything mixed into one shitty
This
gumbo.
is like that restaurant that you hated that we went to a couple times in Hollywood that's closed. That's like South Indian, Japanese,
like Southeast Asian fusion.
Yeah.
Where it's like you mix all these ingredients. I hated that restaurant because I look, I didn't go to Le Cordon Bleu. I don't know what ingredients go together. And every single effing, speaking of effing, these characters, these college age kids who are raggedy as hell are saying frickin'.
They're saying
I hate that.
Frickin', when's the last time?
Ain't no way that these kids are talking to each other, talking about the frickin' this.
That's like HE double hockey sticks. Goddamn, no.
Anyway, every time we would eat at that frickin' restaurant, I would hate my concoction because I didn't know that curry paste and corn mixed with bean sprouts and falafel
there was some
don't
jarring.
go together. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hated it. But anyway, in the end, Haley, the one who does the reading, after everyone's dead except her and her ex-boyfriend, she's like, I know how to solve this. What if I read La Llorona's fortune? Then like she'll die and then the curse will be lifted. And that's what she does. And literally as La Llorona is strangling this heifer, she tells her, I read your fortune. It says you're going to die. And then like every movie like this, you get this CGI whirlwind that sucks this demon back into the void. And then all's well that ends well.
A magic maelstrom.
But of course, the final scene is the two survivors leaving this cabin in the woods because they had gone back to try to destroy the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And a car pulls up. And so as the audience, if you didn't remember, you're reminded by Haley that, oh my gosh, the boy's fortune, the surviving male, her ex, had to do with like him dying on a road with a car or something. So of course it's like, oh no, they didn't escape fate. And then we see it is the character who I hated so much.
I passionately hated
Oh
this
my God.
person.
I mean,
Paxton.
we reviewed a movie about a shark,
Mm-hmm.
The Last Breath.
Yeah.
And in that film, there were two characters we hated. But prior to that, I haven't disliked a character this much in a long time. And that character's name is Paxton, played by Jacob Batalon.
Who we know as Ned from the latest round of Spider-Man films.
I like the Tom Hardy. No, who's
Holland?
The Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I do find them fun. And I do recall his character and thinking that he and Tom Holland have a cute little friendship. But in this movie, this casting, he is so damn annoying.
These people would not be friends with him.
No.
He has nothing to offer. He has no money. He has no drugs. He's not funny.
And then because there are three couples, two heterosexual couples and a lesbian couple, one of whom is played by the lady from Mean Girls, like the new one.
Avantika. Each more boring than the next.
And none of them really mess with him. Like the two guys aren't checking for his ass. They don't seem to even like him. Which usually when you see that combo, it's usually like, oh, the two good-looking straight dudes have this like homely ass weirdo friend,
mm-hmm.
but they don't even seem to mess with him. And for sure, the two lesbians don't give a shit about his ass. And then the other two women like seem annoyed by him. Why is he in the mix?
Why?
Anyway, we find out that he was able to escape death in a post-credit scene because he was supposed to be killed by the joke or the fool, which is like a Joker.
Well, because he is a fool.
And as the audience, we think he gets killed in the elevator, but in the post-credit scene, we find out that, oh no, I didn't die because right as I was about to get killed, my roommate opened the elevator. That was so dumb.
The only part of the movie where I felt a little relief was like, finally, this person will die, and then we can get to the obvious conclusions.
Okay, this podcast can't be this long over this stupid movie.
I hated this movie, and it ends with this little white girl, Harriet Slater, who's got Emma Stone mouth. She reads this old bitch for filth, I guess.
It was.
What if she'd had a good fortune?
Right. Yeah.
You're going to get your baby back, girl.
Yeah. What if her fortune said, like, keep doing what you're doing to get to the road to success or something? Like, what?
Great job, girl.
Stay consistent in your efforts and you'll achieve your goals or something like.
With patience and resiliency comes success.
But no, hers immediately death card, death,
Uh,
death card. And then she even says, sometimes death means the ending of something or the beginning of something new. But in your case, it just means death, bitch. And then she vanishes. Like,
I mean,
okay.
this could have been really subversive with that. What's that song, Closing Time?
Closing time.
Remember in the late 90s, that song that played forever on the radio?
Oh, I'd
This is
have
the
to.
beginning of whatever, some other
Oh, now you're
beginnings
making me
end.
think of that vitamin C graduation song.
Oh, God. Well, that was around the same period. Yeah.
Okay, let me go through these notes. I knew I was going to hate this movie when these raggedy kids are in this Airbnb, someone else's home that they're letting you rent, knowing that they're probably going to be partying, and they put up a sign and a padlock saying, "Do not enter this room." And these kids break that damn lock off.
And this is after, because I was like, I know we just saw something where
The
these,
blackening,
yeah,
which we have a review for.
which they straight up made fun of this exact trope.
Yeah, the blackening. This would, if you haven't seen the blackening and you have seen Tarot, you should watch the blackening because it's making fun of, and the blackening is a much better film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, I mean, the blackening is meant to be a comedy.
Yes.
But it's a horror film. I would say that the blackening is exponentially more funny than this. Because
Mm-hmm.
why we have Paxton as the comic relief makes no sense to me. It really is distracting. And then I think the blackening is more scary than this movie. There are like the moments where they're hiding out from the killers, and in the blackening was actually tense.
It's subversive and satirical.
Yeah. I don't know what this thing was trying to do.
This thing is just. Did we drag these directors, Spencer Cohn and Anna Hallberg?
And they wrote the adapted screenplay.
This is y'all just Sony Screen Gems just handing out money to anybody? No, like what is this trash?
You know what? This feels like someone knew someone and they said, we have 5 million, 10 million to throw onto something before the end of the year or whatever for tax purposes. Can you throw something together?
We have these seven pretty young things, mostly pretty young things that will do any movie you ask them to.
I wonder if it was one of those things where they had bought the rights to the book and it was like,
it's been clunking around in there for a long time.
And like if they don't do it now, they can never do it. And it's tax season. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so you already mentioned the main lady to me looked like Emma Stone. Then her ex-boyfriend, the one black character who I thought looked like Black Dave Franco. That character,
Aiden Bradley.
He's handsome and he's a soap opera guy. So, I mean, he looks like he'd be on a soap opera. But the look on his face in every scene, it would be so funny if someone took a screenshot of every time we see his face on screen and made a cartoon out of it. Because he looks like when you feed a kid like something sour for the first time.
A raw duck breast.
The look on his face is just.
Yeah, he looks like he's soured against it, but I would be too.
I would love to know what the directors told him to do, that he is doing this the entire movie.
Well, because he has doubts, like Meryl, about the power of the tarot.
I really think that the mythos behind the the backbone of this story is just so convoluted, and especially like when the original, like the source material is about horoscopes, something that we can all relate to, and then you take something like tarot, which is very we all have a very like sort of superficial understanding of it. Why would you make it more convoluted?
I don't know.
And then the way she does it is just, I will say the Haley lady, she seemed very polished, like in the way she was presenting it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was confusing to me, like, so you were this involved?
Well, you were this involved, and then she just got a relationship with this Grant character, and these children are, because literally these people are still children. They aren't talking realistically because he's treating her like she's straight up stupid for these beliefs she has. It's like, I wanted somebody, the level of disdain he has for her points. I'd be like, I can't believe that I was. Like that we were sleeping together for this long. Like,
so what you're talking about is when they're doing like the round robin tarot readings, when it's his turn, he says no, which makes sense because like, bitch, you just broke up with me, I'm not gonna let you read my tarot cards. But then he gets upset and says, well, do mine. And then she starts reading it like she read everyone else's, but he thinks that she's talking about him, like their relationship. Mm-hmm. That was so annoying. And yes, the fact that no one chimed in, like,
also, don't ask questions you don't want the answers
and then,
to.
don't ask, like, what? Okay. So Oh, well, speaking of him and that damn reading, he when he sits down with her, he tells her he doesn't know his astrological sign. How is that possible?
Man,
How is it possible that?
I'd be like, go sit your ass outside then. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, I would have been like, never mind,
I don't know. I don't need
never
it.
mind, I'm done. Okay, fake Emma Stone when she reads her own cards, she's like her final like fortune cookie line says, "Love is going to be the death of me."
Which is the title to a great song, I bet.
Well, then at the end, when it's just her and her ex and the demon, she says that as well. But
Mhm.
what did that relate to?
I don't
What is she
know.
talking about? Love of what? Whose love is going to be the death of her?
Her love for this asshole.
But they don't. I didn't get that they like
Settle down with this man that's gonna gaslight you all the time, girl.
that made no sense. Okay, the opening scene is them like the opening scene is long because it's them at this Airbnb cabin
Mhm.
and doing everyone's
You mean before the title drops?
before the
Mhm.
title card drops, and I just thought this felt like
The title tarot card.
the the flow of the opening was so I wrote down that it reminded me of like when you go eat at a restaurant, they bring your food out of order.
Mhm.
Like we ordered appetizers, entrees, and sides, and then they bring out your entree first, and then 5 minutes later the appetizer,
Like
and then
what?
5 minutes later the sides, and then they bring out your cocktail last. It's like you brought this. This just feels so.
I don't want cream cheese wontons alongside my pad thai.
No, I need to prime my belly.
Prime
It
my
needs to
belly.
settle before you bring me my drunken noodles. But anyway,
Settle.
okay. The reason I don't know if I mentioned this, but the reason fake Emma Stone is
Her name's Harriet Slater. To be fair to this
is she related to Christian?
to this woman, she doesn't look unlike Helen, but
Helen Slater? Oh,
yeah,
Superwoman?
yeah,
Shout out
Supergirl, Supergirl.
Supergirl. Shout out to Faye Dunaway.
Oh, the only reason to watch that. Well,
Well, no, and her little friend.
Brenda Vaccaro.
Yes. Okay. The reason fake Emma Stone starts reading tarot cards or learning about them and doing astrology is because her mother died.
Mhm.
And that was a way for her to process the grieving.
Yeah.
Although the way they do the flashbacks, this lady looks like, what's her name? Haley?
Haley.
She looks like this happened yesterday. So I don't
Mhm.
know. It's not like she was like a young girl and her mom died. Anyway, Haley is still wearing the hospital wristband her mother was wearing.
Mhm.
I mean, that's sweet, but I feel like you need to take it off, girl, and you can like put it on a chain or put it in a box or something. But like you just wearing it forever. What?
You need to let that go. You need to let that go.
Okay. The scene where they try to figure out what's going on is like, huh, two of our friends. First of all, these people are not reacting how you think you'd react when like your best friends are being murdered and shit. But anyway, they're like, two of our friends died, and then they all sort of put together that it is mimicking what Haley's fortune said.
Mhm.
So what do? They get on Google
And Google.
the singular word horoscope,
Mhm.
and immediately
But they not only that, they have dialogue about that. And Haley goes, I know how to use a browser.
they actually point out the fact that Googling horoscope is not going to lead you to anything specific. And then they still show us that by Googling the word horoscope, they pull up a website for this Alma lady, and it's specifically about what happened to them. And then we get a story about a bunch of dead people in Mexico. That was so annoying.
Who had a poison tarot.
That was so annoying. It's like, you know what it made me think of, and this is not as bad, but like in Sinister, when Ethan Hawke
Mhm.
calls that, because I think it's like his buddy who's like a professor of like, I don't demonic studies.
Yeah.
I don't know what the boogeyman.
Demonology,
He has
like
and
Courtney Love says.
but every movie like this is the same. Like
Yeah.
like someone's gonna know exactly what's happened, like the exact markings, the exact demon. Because when they finally do, they Google horoscope. Top search result is Alma knowing all about it.
Look at Mexico, 1751.
Then they find her address. They drive 3+ hours away in the middle of the night
Mhm.
without calling this lady.
And then frantically knock at her door.
And she opens it and she goes, well, are the tarot cards in a wooden box with the zodiac on top? And they're like, how do you know?
See,
And then she starts telling all the story.
that's at this point where this would be totally fantastic if this film switched to like a film noir where it's like these dum-dums were being conned by somebody.
When the two friends, or I'm sorry, when all the friends leave the initial Airbnb, there are 7 of them, so they have to take 2 cars. And I knew I hated this movie because I wrote down, it's a good thing 2 of the friends died so they can all fit into 1 car
And
now.
they used the better one, the nicer car.
Yeah, they did. Okay. We're told that using tarot with horoscope is the most powerful form of divination known to man.
No, I don't know anything, and I know that's not true.
That line being uttered was so annoying to me. Like,
is it in a wooden box?
Because this is like the basis of what's happened. Like, it just needed to be better explained. Actually, the backstory of the peasant astrologer, that should have been the movie.
That should have been the movie, but as flashbacks, you said something funny, which
was... the flashbacks to the 1700s reminded me of Drunk History.
Because it looks like
and you just want to giggle.
It's that sheen of like, okay.
And like the 2 ladies were beautiful. The man looked like you should be like that actor playing the count. We see him like in a bathtub, shirtless. Mm-hmm. He looked like he has an OnlyFans page.
The peasant astrologer is beautiful. Like,
yeah, come and on the now. Wife with the dead baby is too much. Okay, the one of the characters recorded the tarot readings, which you already mentioned, but I feel like an idea you had that I think would have been so much better is, what if there wasn't a supernatural element? Mm-hmm. You explain your idea.
I think that this dum-dum's reading everybody's fortunes, and then somebody has a motive to kill these people for some kind of gain, money, vengeance. Maybe it's the boyfriend because he was tired of her ass, whatever. That's what we come to find is they believe that they're being, haunted by the tarot readings, but it's really somebody else using that as an excuse to get to them.
Right. So like a Scream type vibes.
Yeah. Literally anything.
My idea was something more like Drag Me to Hell, where maybe these asshole college kids go to a fortune teller and maybe they disrespect her and she curses them by manipulating their fortunes.
You shame me.
And then they have to figure out how to deal with it. And then if you want to add an extra layer, maybe there could be a gag where like maybe they didn't disrespect her, but maybe like, like my work will have like team building events, and sometimes they'll rent like we've had where they'll like hire a tarot reader like as a gag. And so what if we find out that maybe the tarot reader wants revenge on this group of friends because they bought a house that like was in her family, something that like she's connected to, something like that. But anyway,
or make it a racial reckoning thing where it's like Haley's racist ancestors did something that was harmful to Grant's ancestors. I don't know. Yes. Anything. Come on, people. Let's use our imaginations.
Okay, Avantika is beautiful, and I thought she was fun in Mean Girls because she was playing like ditzy, but in this she has nothing to do. And there's a point she's the lesbian, right?
Yeah, I believe. Right? I don't
know.
Yeah,
she is the lesbian. She has a line where she's talking to the annoying character Paxton, trying to explain what's happening, and in like a Valley Girl tone, she's like, "We have a curse, Paxton." I'm like, not this. What?
I hated Paxton so much. He's unappealing in every single way.
Well, so of all the women, the other, God, I forget which one. 3 of them are so nondescript to me. I don't even remember them.
There's one named Madeline and one.
The
named
one
Elise.
Who was doing the Latina lady. I think she's the one who gets killed by the hangman.
That's That's Humberly Gonzalez.
She was so nondescript to me, but she dies. But the hangman kills her, and part of her fortune was something about water under a bridge. So they're on a bridge when the car stops, and then the hangman drags her out and like hangs her over the bridge. But before the hangman snatches them out, we actually get this demonic spirit like draw a hangman on the window of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we're on the airplane
Mm-hmm.
trying to kill time and we play hangman.
Yep.
That's what, like,
Yeah, that hangman.
so this demonic spirit is playing hangman.
And then I hated that. That's one of the stupidest scenes because she's running because she's a Pisces, and that means she runs from her problems, I guess. And she's running down the bridge, and this noose swoops down and snatches her up from where, I don't know.
Okay, I wrote down like who would like this movie. I think the only people who would like this movie are the girls who go to haunted houses and start screaming before they even get inside.
Yep, scream, scream, scream. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, screaming at the thought of being scared, they're screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those girls would like this movie.
Yeah.
Or at least think it's creepy. Okay, Alma, Owen Fuere. Her character explains to the audience and to this group of assholes that I have spent all of my life since 1980 whatever in London when all my friends died except me because I did the tarot readings but didn't read myself, unlike yo dumbass Haley. I have spent the last 40 years
ish
trying to figure out
where are these damn cards.
And then they tell her where they are. Mm-hmm. They're in a cabin in the Catskills. And that lady goes, okay, well, good luck.
Yeah.
You have spent your entire adult life trying to figure out these cards. And then these raggedy ass kids tell you where they are.
And
you're like, all right, take care.
But if you were the children, wouldn't you be like, okay, girl, can you help us with this then?
It's not until
these Residious children go back to the cabin and try to burn the cards, which don't burn.
And that's when they go, we need help. And they call Alma. And then her ass shows up. And, you know, I wrote down that.
Also, this is lots of driving.
Owen Fury has an interesting look because she has white hair. But in her face, she has really nice features. But yeah. I wrote down, in 15 years, this is what Elsa Pataki is going to look like.
It's okay, though. I mean, I like her look. She's very Glenn Close / Terrence Stamp. It's a piercing gaze. Wasted in this dreck.
At the end of the film, before Paxton shows up in his car to pick them up, Haley and her and Black Dave Franco are walking down the road. And Haley says to him in the most casual, flat voice, you think anyone will believe us? Bitch, 4 of your friends were murdered by demonic spirits that jumped out of tarot cards. You witnessed La Llorona evaporate into the air. And they're just like, yeah, I don't.
You know, you're just gonna have. I wish you'd gotten access to Alma's blog spot so you could add to it. No, girl, no one's gonna believe you.
Then Paxton, when he picks them up, and they're like, well, how did you survive? Oh, well, my roommate Tommy opened the elevator for me. He's acting like, first of all, he seems like a little bitch anyway, and it's like you were almost killed by a demonic clown.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like cool as a cucumber. Who directed the movie Frontiers? That French.
Xavier Gens.
I would like to see that person remake this film. Okay, I wrote down the kills because I assumed that they'd be interesting, but then they weren't. But now that I have them in front of me, I want to say them. One of the girls gets killed by the high priestess, and the high priestess basically like bludgeons her with the ladder from the attic. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we didn't even mention,
which you could just roll out of the way from, girl. It's like, it's very Charlize Theron and Prometheus, like just roll your ass over.
We didn't even talk about the other male, because there's Black Dave Franco, and then there's the other one who's the sensitive one.
Yeah, who looks like a boring Schwarzenegger child.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He, the hermit, kills him by making him run in front of a train. Then we know Madeline got killed by the hangman by hanging her off a bridge.
Humberly.
Avantika, her kill was the most probably elaborate because the magician is chasing her. And then it's like, I didn't understand these scenarios because for everyone else, what was happening to them was happening in the real world.
Mm-hmm. And hers
is in like Freddy Krueger land.
It's like the
because she's in like an old time like vaudevillian
the sunken place.
Yeah, she's in like a vaudevillian alternate reality where she's in like a magician show, and the magician
Shining
saws her in half. So what are the rules then? Because all the other kills happen in their actual space and time, but then Avantika's is like in an alternate reality.
It, which reminded me, because it has all these extras that are dressed up with that have creepy, dead behind the eyes gazes with white
Yeah.
makeup on. I'm like, just can you imagine even just casting these roles for this scene? It's so stupid.
I feel bad, and I'm sure these. I would be excited too if someone cast me in their movie, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
for sure. Like
you
nothing
know,
against those people.
no,
Just
but it
like,
would just be like I'd be so. I mean, I'd still be excited if I got my little paycheck and I'm in a movie, but I would just be so bummed, like, because it feels like they put a lot of effort into this film, like the production of it, for it to be so stupid. Lastly, Alma gets killed by her card is the swordsman, and so she gets stabbed with like 6 swords in the back. Boring.
Yep.
But one of the more boring PG-13 horror films I've seen.
Well, we never saw it because the one press screening was on the Sony lot the very morning that it was opening.
This movie made money. I can't believe that. I mean, I didn't even look up like reviews for it, but what would you give?
I mean, I know
Tarot?
that we disagree a little bit on this, but I'm giving it the lowest score possible because the level of stupidity is beyond me. I mean,
I
so it's a 0.5 for me.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I think it's valid to say 0.5. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 only because I do think that the cinematography, the VFX, the set design, like those people did their job well, and so I feel bad saying it's like the worst of the worst. But this story is, I mean, buried underground.
These filmmakers should be fucking embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Not just the critics score, but the audience score. So that's bad. That's a bad movie.
When we can bond, both sides of the pond can bond.
Anyhow, this podcast is very long, so we need to end it. On our Patreon, we recently reviewed This Film Is Not Yet Rated, and I think for people who like to hear Nick and I have heated discussions, which it seems like people enjoy, then it would be worth your $5 a month to listen to us argue about censorship or the lack or the perceived censorship of the MPAA.
It's censorship.
We don't agree on that, but anyway, anything else you want to say?
I'll leave the children with this quote. Nocturnal creatures are not so prudent. The moon's my teacher, and I'm her student.
That's a song.
A song I love.
What is the song?
She-Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Giving us some of the best...
lycanthropy.
Some of the best imagery of the 2000s is Shakira with that blonde hair and that little...
Shakira in that video looking like she's inside of the intestine of a brontosaurus.
Or a vagina of something.
Is pretty... I mean, I don't know that... find something that's better. I don't know.
And when I am feeling myself on the dance floor, if it's not Shakira in those moments of that video, it's Rosie Perez. But anyway,
in the Soul Train line. Oh, yep. Okay. Well,
looking possessed. I want to look like I'm possessed, I guess.
Well, you act possessed. Anyway, ta-ta.